Welcome to Mission Driven Founders, where passion meets purpose. If you're dreaming of starting your own business, whether it's in wellness, education, or any field where purpose meets impact, you're in the right place. We are going behind the scenes with inspiring entrepreneurs who are not just building brands, but driving real change. So hit subscribe, tap the bell for updates, and stick around. This conversation could be the spark that ignites your journey. And today we are joined by Bruce Perlowin, a legendary entrepreneur whose life story is so cinematic, it's currently being turned into a major motion picture, The King of Pot. Once known for running one of the largest marijuana smuggling syndicates in the US history, Bruce took a 9-year federal prison sentence and turned it into a catalyst for radical global change. Today, alongside his fiancée, our very own CMB certified founder, Nicole Fay, Bruce uses his legendary logistical genius to lead a green revolution, traveling to homes and farms to teach people how to grow medicinal and gourmet mushrooms completely for free. Now, let's dive into Bruce's inspiring journey and see how he's contributing to our movement and making a difference in the world. Bruce, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure to be here. I've watched a lot of your podcasts, and they're all very enjoyable.
Oh, thank you. I love your podcast too. And we're going to talk about that pretty soon in this first question. So, Bruce, your wild past is the subject of your Becoming the King of Pot podcast and an upcoming movie. But today, you're traveling around teaching people how to grow mushrooms completely for free. What sparked this massive shift from building smuggling empires to giving away so much free knowledge?
Well, there was a lot of stuff in between that. First, there was 9 years in prison, which I went to co-ed prison, so it wasn't so bad. I literally walked around holding hands with my girlfriend. There was two-thirds women in the prison and one-third men. That was hysterical. And then I started a whole series of companies, and I was building an eco village out in Arizona where we've had 5 festivals, and we're going to have another one next year, a big one, a really cool festival. Um, we can talk about that in a second. And my one of my friends out there, when I had public companies, I donated a lot of stock to nonprofits. That's just part of the 60s mentality of giving back, or at least my group of 60s mentality people, and helping to change the world. So I figured, well, I can't change the world, but I can give money to the people that are going to change the world. And in this case, it was stock. And one of the companies I gave it to was Spread Peace USA, and that was Chris Tinney and Taisha, and they fed the homeless. So they did a great job, and to this day they're still doing the same thing. Anyways, Taisha is Nicole Fay's best friend. So she introduced me to Nicole, and I fell madly in love. She's like my hippie dream girl come true, a feng shui master, certified Kundalini yoga instructor, a Reiki master, an incredible entrepreneur and businesswoman, assertive. You know, I mean, I joke around. I say my best friends are spies, assassins, terrorists, hijackers, jewel thieves, bank robbers, smuggler, and that's just the women because I was in prison with them. So I like assertive women. She's very assertive. She's really a go-getter. She literally can outwork me, which is almost impossible because I'm a workaholic. All right, so I'm out in Arizona, and she's here, and either I'm going to move here or she's going to move there. Well, at that time she had a 13-year-old who's now 17, almost 18-year-old daughter who goes to dance class, goes, all her friends are here. Just started, or just about to start senior high school. And I said, I'm not going to move them anywhere and disrupt that. So I moved here. All right. So, and then,
The story. I love this story. And Nicole is everything that you're saying. She's an amazing, amazing woman. And she was one of the first people in wellness that I met when I moved to Tennessee. And I was like, yes, look at this person. Look what she's doing. Look at the movement she's creating. So I love it. I love that she's CMB certified. I love that we work together. We do events together, but I'm going to let you talk because it's your interview.
okay. So anyway, so now I'm here, and I wanna get in shape. I grew up, I was a undefeated weightlifting champion in my weight division in Florida, took 3rd to teenage nationals, captain the gymnastics team, and I was a high performance athlete, and I loved to work out, and of course, in prison, you're working on the weight pile for those 9 years. So, I don't like to go to the gym like Nicole does. She goes to the gym every day, she walks for hours every day. I figure I'll work in the yard. Alright, so one day she said, "Bruce, can you put maybe wood chips down the side of the yard?" And I said, "Sure." At that time, we are buying these boxes. There's 2 companies in this area, ET Fungi and BTV Farms, and they sell these boxes where you cut a little square in them, you make it X, and a mushroom pops out. It's all different kinds of mushrooms. There's about 20 different, functional mushrooms that you can get. So we do that. It's really cool. We harvest the mushroom, and I call my mushroom expert up in Chicago because I have another business and where I make uh, it was a ground up canaf, and that's a fall tall fibrous plant, and then ground up hemp, and you grind it up, and it makes a perfect mushroom substrate, way better than anything on the marketplace today. So I was playing around with that, these mushroom companies. I go, Nicholas, if I take this mushroom mycelium block, because inside that box is a mycelium block, it's just a bunch of ground up stuff, and then they inoculate it, and the roots grow all through this block, and then the mushroom pops out. And I throw it on wood chips. Would it grow? He goes, "Oh yeah, you'll grow mushrooms." He goes, "Put 3 inches of wood chips, put mycelium, and then 3 inches of wood chips above it. Water it once, and forget about it." All right. So I thought this is cool. So I started that taking wheelbarrows full of chips. You get the chips free, and that's an important element here. Okay, free wood chips. All right, so start with the wood chips. We put them alongside. I got a little bit carried away. This is my workout. The wheelbarrow I got when I filled with chips is 300 pounds. When I first started, I'm, I could do 3 wheelbarrows full, put it beside the house, dump it, spread it out, go get some wood from the front garden, cut it. I had this lumber that I cut to make the mushroom gardens. Go get some bricks, put those in the front, and I'm hauling around wood and hauling around bricks, and it's great exercise. So I got carried away. I got mushroom garden on the side of the house, around the back of the house, under the deck, on the other side of the deck, down the other side, and in front of the house. Mycelium is the white roots that grow. The mushroom is just a fruiting body. Right. So all these white roots grow. He goes, "Yeah, you do that." So I got done building that. It took me 10 months and 17 days, and I was finished. I so I call and thinking, oh, then I'm researching it on the internet, and I find out that one mushroom will release 1 billion microscopic spores. 25,000 will fit on the head of a pin. They're that small. So I call Nicholas back up in Chicago. Nicholas, I'm uphill. You know, you know, are we gonna have my whole neighborhood covered with, pink oyster mushrooms, king trumpet mushrooms, reishi mushrooms, all these healthy mushrooms on the trees in the backyards and the golf course next door? And he goes, "Your neighborhood?" He goes, "Bruce, how about your county? Those things will fly 55 miles." That's all he had to tell me, right? Because there's a, like, mischievous, you know, bent to me, right? I said, 55 miles, I'm gonna put mushrooms all over mushroom gardens all over Eastern Tennessee, right? And in 3 or 4 years, Eastern Tennessee will be the healthy mushroom capital of America because they're spread like crazy. So I put on my Facebook page to anybody that wants to do mushroom garden, I will help them for free. Right, so the first thing I do is you tell them to get your free chip drop. And then once they get that, I will go to either BTV, Beyond the Veil Farms, or ET Fungi. They're much better. I don't know what Beyond the Veil throws away, but ETV Farm throws away 300 of these blocks every week. So
Wow.
there's plenty of material to go. I just get your wood chips, and I'll bring the mycelium blocks for free, no charge. So I've started doing that. I think I got up to mushroom garden number 23 or something, maybe 32. I have to look on my list. And we're doing that all over, and it's all free. The blocks are free. I'll help, if they're an elderly couple or, a younger couple that's not as strong, I'll help build the gardens. And you take the wood from their yard, and you just take fallen trees and you make, squares for your different mushroom species. So it's a lot of fun. And so if anybody wants to do that, just IM me on Facebook. And because I stopped doing it for about 6 months, because my sprinter broke down. So that's out of the shop. And now I'm waiting because one lady wants me to bring the chips because she can't put a whole giant pile of chips in her yard. So I said, I'll bring you. And it's only a little garden she wants to do. I went over there and did a reconnaissance, right? And so it's just a mischievous thing to do. That's great exercise in lieu of going to the gym.
I love that. That is, I mean, it's exercise, it's cleaning the soil because the mushrooms clean the soil. So it's sustainability, it's exercise, it's paying it forward because you're doing all of this for free as a volunteer. And it's bringing so much to the community. And I love that in every event we talk about this and everybody says, come to my house, come to my house. It's really incredible. I love that. And I love mushrooms, all kinds, like, the reishi, the oyster mushrooms that you gave out in the last event. I love sauteing them, and I love what you're doing. So do you do this only in East Tennessee, or people can call you from all over?
No, just Eastern Tennessee. All right.
Okay.
Because like in places like where my eco village is out in Arizona, and I had a house in Florida, the ambient temperature outside is too hot. Mushrooms won't grow there. So you got to grow them indoors in those locations. But anybody can duplicate and that's what I say on I have a little YouTube channel up on how to grow mushrooms. And we just started. I probably got 200 videos to load up. But I tell everybody, in every city in America, there is a mushroom grower growing mushrooms. Every city in America, they throw away the mycelium block. All right. The only people that like that mycelium is the organic gardeners and farmers because it's really good. Mycelium is really good for the soil because it spreads out and it helps connect the roots and helps the nutrient uptake of your garden plants. So I don't need to do it in California or New Jersey or New York. Anyone can do it on their own. I'm focused just here because, again, everyone's going to do it because there's all that raw material gets thrown away, and America will be having healthy mushrooms growing all over the wild, all over every place. But we have a jump on it. We have about a 3-year start to become the healthy mushroom capital of America.
That's so interesting. What started as a hobby became this movement all over East Tennessee, and I'm sure other places in other states, people are doing the same thing as you're doing. Do you connect with them online, on Facebook groups, and exchange, information and knowledge?
Yes, and there's so many people that are so much more advanced than me because it's new. Mushrooms going new to me. The novel concept is, get all this mycelium block and spread it all over Eastern Tennessee. That's my idea. It's like Johnny Appleseed, right? Um, and it's amazing because it's some of the East Tennessee Wellness Directories meetups that we have once a month when the mushrooms are blooming, people brought it home. We had a couple of them here. They one had bagfuls of mushrooms. I go harvest them, and it's really cool because they're harvesting themselves. You put them in a brown paper bag as opposed to a plastic bag, fresh mushrooms, and it was really a lot of fun. So we're waiting. Right about now, the mushrooms should start popping up again because it's raining so much, and it's not too cold. It's not too hot.
I love that, Bruce. That is really, really cool. But for some people, mushroom cultivation can seem a little bit intimidating and complex, right? So take us a little bit. You already told us a lot about, the behind the scenes, but talk about how it cleans the soil and how people can do it in their backyard without fearing, oh, it's going to take over my backyard, my grass. Like, how can you limit that space? Tell us a little bit about that so that people are not scared of starting a mushroom garden because it's so healthy and it's so good for their soil. How not to let it
Okay,
take over.
yeah, it's the complete opposite of taking over, and I'll explain that. First of all, these kids, I call them kids because I'm 75, they're making 25 to $35,000 net a month growing mushrooms indoors. All right, you go and you see it's trending. It's everywhere. It's in the grocery stores. It's in the health food stores. It's in the restaurant. It's at the farmers market. They're all out there. So a lot of more kids are starting to grow mushrooms, sort of like growing marijuana when that back in 40, 50, 30, 20 years ago when they were growing it at home. Now you grow mushrooms and make 25, 35,000. They're all doing every state in America. They're all throwing away the mycelium block. Now, when we first got it, when they throw it away, the reason they throw it away because they take this block and then inoculate it with, let's say, king trumpet oyster. Okay? They know exactly when that king trumpet oyster is going to be mature and ready to harvest, whether it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 weeks, or 5 weeks. I don't know. All right, but they do, and they harvest it, and they will get a second bloom, but the second bloom they don't know when it's going to come. It could come in 2 weeks, three. There's no set schedule. They're on a schedule to deliver to the stores, deliver to the health food stores, you know. So they throw it away. So that when I get them and bring them to people, more often than not, there's a second bloom already happening. And if not, the second bloom will come in like within 2 weeks. So you get this second bloom immediately, which is great, immediate gratification. Okay. And then that's it, the second bloom. So I'm still waiting for the third bloom. And what happens based on the size of your bed, the mycelium has to go through the and populate it. They call it populate the area, and you don't know when it's going to pop up next. It could be 3 years. So them taking over your garden is not something you need to worry about. Quite frankly, it's the opposite. We have all these chips, uh, mushroom garden, which is as wood chips. Now we did grow mint in the one in the front by the front porch, and that's fine. It won't interfere with the mushrooms when they come up, and how they might not come up for 5 years. I don't know. I think this year they'll start coming up again, but it won't take over anything, and it is extremely healthy for any garden. And you can look that up, Google it, mycelium for your organic garden, because the mycelium connects all the other roots, especially the roots of the trees you know, and it's a super healthy organic source of raw materials that is happening all over America because America is demanding healthy mushrooms. The growers making 25, 35,000 net are doing it like crazy, and they're throwing this raw material out. It's really a gold mine, and we want to grab them before they realize that, and then start charging for it. They haven't done that yet.
I really love this because it gives people so many opportunities. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, I want to leave my 9 to 5 job. I don't know what to do." And look at that. You can actually make money with this hobby that you started. So I love that, and I hope people connect with you after the podcast. We're going to put your Instagram handle, your podcast, everything, your Facebook page, and people can connect with you. But I really want to go a little bit back to the past when you spent 9 years in federal prison and completely re engineered your life. So, what was the hardest part about transitioning from the high stakes underworld into a life dedicated to grassroots community service? So, I'm sure you learned a lot. I've heard that you did a lot of meditation in prison. It seems like it was nice that you had the co-ed, and you could be with your girlfriend and people. You had a socialization, but you also had a lot of in like the inner awareness and things that you thought about, the yoga that you did. Tell us about that experience.
Okay. I've been into yoga since I was 7 years old. I was meditating and then when I got older, I started practicing hatha yoga. And so in prison, I actually taught Kundalini yoga to all the other inmates. In fact, I just found um, some posters about that, because in my podcast, we're up to the prison years now. So I'm remembering everything I did in prison. While I was in prison, I got five. Well, first of all, to me, it was an unprecedented opportunity of a lifetime to learn, grow, and study. So I got 5 college degrees, made straight A's. I got 1B the entire 4 years of college. Professors would come in. I was at Pleasanton. They'd come in from UC Berkeley and Cal State, real high-end professors. And I didn't just do A plus. I want to do beyond A plus work. So if they said do a 20-page journal, I did a 400-page journal. I really got into studying. I read 100 books a year. I made the national dean's list, the president's list, because I got all A's. Um, I got great physical condition because I, beat all my records when I was a state weightlifting champion. I ran 3 to 4 miles, 3 to 4 times a week. I walked 10 miles every single day. And that was with Svetlana, the Russian spy that I met in prison. The number one show in the history of 60 Minutes is a show on her. And so she would make me walk, make me walk. Yeah, she didn't have any pity. She wouldn't let me sit down. She had a lot of energy. So we walked like 2.5 hours every single night. That's 15 miles per hour. And we did it 7 days a week, nonstop. So, and then I did a time management study. Am I going to school? Am I studying? Am I writing? Am I exercising? What am I doing? 8.5 hours of some kind of self help, teaching yoga, meditating. It was really an unprecedented opportunity of a lifetime to learn, grow, and study. Oh, and you're also in with an amazing group of characters, all different ages, all different nationalities. So it's a microcosm of the world. You had school, you had GED classes, you had Unicore, which is the factory where people work. You go to bed at the same time, you eat dinner at the same time, your meals. It was very, very controlled. You're on a schedule, and that preserves you. And also, I was in between 30 and 40. That's basically the time frame. Well, what is it? What are y'all guys doing on 30 and 40? You're getting drunk, you're getting high, you're doing your drugs of your choice, and those are the party years. I miss the party years. And the one thing that people say that go to prison like that, they say the most common denominator statement is, "This has added 10 years to my life." Because of that. So I did learn, grow, and study. And when I got out, I was a different person. I remember when I changed, I was a criminal. I was a smuggler full time, nonstop. In fact, it was the largest marijuana smuggling organization in West Coast history, not the biggest in the US history, just in California and the West Coast. And I'm interviewing on my podcast the biggest guys in history. There were 10, one case 10 times bigger than me. So, anyways, it was an amazing ability. It was amazing to be able to do that, and I loved it. I read to my heart's content. I worked out to my heart's content. I really felt inadequate before then because I never got a formal education. So I remember when I went to went from a criminal, like I said, I was a criminal, to an intellectual between the third and fourth year of college. It dawned on me, wow, I'm not a criminal anymore. I have no desire to do anything. Although smuggling marijuana was not just making money in the beginning, it was to raise people's consciousness, which I still believe that does, but that's not my wheelhouse anymore. My
And you
wheelhouse is,
were young, right? We're not going to get into the all the details of how you started smuggling and all that, the marijuana story, because that is in your podcast. So
yeah.
if anyone wants to hear Bruce's story about why he started smuggling marijuana, how it happened, who he connected with, and how, his whole story about, becoming the king of pot, it's in his podcast, and it's very interesting. I also listen to your podcast, and it's so interesting because people think about, smuggling, it's always in a negative way, but there was a mission there. There was a story. There was a very deep story of how he started when he was young. And look at this, your journey is so interesting, Bruce, how you started so young, and then you went to prison, and then you even told us, I think in one of your podcast series episodes, you said, I voluntarily went to prison. I wanted to go, and I wanted to make a change in my life, and I wanted to have these years to, raise awareness within yourself, right, to learn, to study. So I think it's a very valuable life lesson to a lot of young people who have that fire, who have the mission, who want to change the world. And sometimes they go to a different path, or to a path that it's not where they wanted to go. And then your story, I think, really teaches them a lot, because we learn from example if we want to. And I just love your podcast. I love following your episodes because every story is very interesting, and you hearing like the behind the scenes of how it all happened is phenomenal. I love it. I really do.
Yeah, one thing about my story, right now, true crime is trending on podcasts and TV, on documentaries, and movies, on books. It's all about true crime. That's the number one trending thing. There's a subset of true crime called nostalgia crime, and that's guys like me. I was nonviolent, no guns. They're the hippie mafia, the gentleman smuggler, the error before the cartels and all the violence came in. That's what people are wanting to hear, those stories, the nonviolent stories. Where before, when my script for my movie first came out, they said, "Where's the violence?" And we couldn't make the movie a decade ago because there's no violence. Now we're making it because there is no violence, and that's a trending thing called nostalgic crime.
Exactly. It's very, very interesting. Very interesting. And I want to know from you, because here at Crunchy Mama Box, we believe that healing yourself creates a ripple effect that touches everyone else. So, with you, literally sowing the seeds of health for free with your mushroom movement, what is your ultimate dream for the future? Is it the mushroom movement? Is it um, some other project that you're working on? What do you envision for the future? We know the movie. I want to talk about the movie too. Let's not forget to, a little bit, just a little teaser, because I know we can't talk too much about the movie, but I would love to know what your goals for the future are. What's your next movement?
My next movement is very unique and it just emerged. I It's a pain to schedule everyone. All right. I mean, it took me 4 months to schedule Frank, who's on currently. My brother did episode 5, and we couldn't get him back till episode 40 because of his internet wasn't working. Cecil's 92. He can't do it unless his daughter's there to help him with his computer. We had to have somebody go over to Judy's house because she's older than me too, and she was a smuggler. So I said, let's do an event. I own this eco village out in Arizona. And so right now, what we're doing is, and we had events there. We had the One Love Festival there 5 years ago, and 4,000 people showed up. There's 6 geodesic domes. There's a stage there. There's 600 fruit trees, organic fruit trees that we planted out in the desert. So we're going to, in a year from now, June 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th, so I have a whole year to plan it. We're having this festival. It's called the One Love's Tribute to the 60s, Smugglers Reunion, Podcast Extravaganza, Music and Arts Festival and Fair, movie and documentary, because we're going to film the whole thing. All right. So what that means is I'm going to invite all the old smugglers of yesteryear. They're all friends of mine. I know them all, or can get if I the few that I don't know. It's there. We all want to connect to each other and tell war stories because we grew up in that. So I'll have about 200 people there. I'll have about 20 to 50 podcasters there, and in 4 days we could get 1 to 2 years of content. No more scheduling, right?
I
So
love that. Yeah,
and that'll be an annual event, and for the next 100 years, that'll happen. Now, all the smugglers will die, and all the musicians of my era will pass away. But the tribute to the '60s was an amazing time in our history, and the changes that brought into society haven't even been described yet fully. But anyways, that's we're going to have this festival, so everyone remembers the '60s. What a colorful, brilliant, wonderful time that was. A lot of psychedelics were taken back then. I think I don't do it because it's all illegal in Tennessee, but I think everybody should be taking psilocybin, and every major university in America right now, everyone is all doing studies on psilocybin. So it's good stuff. It's better than drinking. Right? So that's what I would see would be my legacy, is to create this festival with the about the 60s. Now, the fact that we're having the Smugglers reunion, that's just going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a podcast heaven. So that's what I see. And built into that is the back to the land movement, because that is the back to the land movement. We have organic gardens out there. We have organic fruit trees. We grow a lot of food out there.
true, true. It's going to be a very interesting festival. Everyone united, everyone talking about the old days and telling stories that are going to be They have to be recorded because once those stories, like what you have to hear it from the original people.
It's called oral history. And we're actually working with a couple PhD professors of history, one in Northwestern University, Lena Brito, and another one in a University of North Carolina at somewhere in the ocean, Wilmington. Right? And both who've written books on the marijuana industry. So, but the term oral history is very important, and I'm just learning all about that history from me. I was there, I did it. Steve Kadish, he was there, he did it. Cecil Rogers, Brett the captain, the dock master, my brother Craig, they were there, and we're telling our story. So yeah, there'll be 20 to 50 podcasters there, and also they're you can make a movie of the concert and they sell them to Netflix called concert movies. So that's why we'll have there, and then we'll doing documentaries. You can have all the raw material there all at once before we all die, And then the next year, there'll be a few of us that will have died, and then every year until we all die off. I mean, we got one guy who's the owner of the One Love Festival is friends with the one of the original guys from the Doors.
Wow.
One guy died, the other guy's still alive. And another guy I'm working with did festivals back in the 60s. He knows everyone from Steppenwolf to Peter Noon from Hermits Hermits, all those old great bands. So we're going to have a lot of them there.
That's incredible, Bruce. That's incredible. What a festival it's going to be, and a movement that you're creating, uniting everybody, and telling your history, and I mean, books, movies, everything's going to come out. And when so what can you talk about your movie? Can you say anything or not yet?
Well, I can talk about you if you go to Bruce Perlowin dot no dot bruceperlowin.org goes to the YouTube channel. Oh, the King of Pot, the movie.com. All right. The King of Pot, the movie.com. The script was written by George Gallo. He wrote Bad Boys 1, 2, and 3. He wrote Wise Guys. Tier one Hollywood writer. Um, it's being read right now. What I can't say is who's reading the script right now, but I looked up. He's one of the top 30 to 50 directors in the history of America. Very, very famous director. Now, whether he'll take on the project or not, we don't know. But at least he's reading the script. They did a great job. They did a 3-minute trailer. There's also a 15-minute interview with me that I did on for CNBC, which talks about my past with Trish Reagan, which at the very end she goes, "If you had to live your life all over again, would you? Would you?" And she's looking at me like a school teacher, right? Just to piss her off. I go, "Yes, if I had to live my life all over again, I'd live it exactly the way I did. It was a lot of fun." And that's how that episode ended. Because, if I didn't live the way, I would have never met this wouldn't happen, that wouldn't happen, that wouldn't happen. I would have never met Nicole,
Exactly.
the love of my life.
I love that. Oh, it's beautiful. I love when you talk about Nicole and the love of your life. I'm a romantic, so I love listening to these love stories. Follow Bruce because there's the festival, there's the podcast, there's the movie, there's the mushroom farm. There's a lot going on with this guy here. He's really cool.
And there's the East Tennessee Wellness Directory for everybody in East Tennessee. If you're a holistic healer of any kind, you want to join that directory. And if you're just a person that wants to find the healers in East Tennessee, you can go ahead and do that. And as of a week ago, she started licensing different regions around the country. So if you like what she does and you want to have your own region, whether it's in New Mexico or California or Florida, get in touch with the East Tennessee Wellness Directory. And right now, especially now, because the licenses are real cheap.
That's fantastic. And yes, the East Tennessee Wellness Directory is CMB certified because we do back leaders who do things the right way and filter the noise in the wellness industry because we value raw transparency. And this is what you're going to get from Bruce, from Nicole with the Wellness Directory. And this is a community that's growing. We want to be transparent and we want to make wellness authentic. Wellness is not just an app to track your breathing or your steps. It goes deeper than that. Right, Bruce?
Yeah, and, you asked me what I wanna see for the future. The concerts are one thing, but what I really would like to see is for the wellness community through it's not my baby, it's Nicole's baby, right? She's an entrepreneur, she's doing I'm watching her, she's amazing, she's doing everything right, and this piece and that piece, with newsletters and meetups, and now she's doing her own expo. So, towards the end of the year for the wellness community, I would love nothing more than to see, you know 2,000 licensees. So that, like, when I came to Knoxville, I didn't know where the chiropractor was. I didn't know where the massage therapist was. But if there was a directory, I would have been in heaven. So that's what I love to see and it's pulling the entire holistic healing community together. And that's an amazing, amazing vision that I am so into seeing happen. It's not funny.
It's beautiful. And what do you think about the CMB certification?
Oh, I freaking love what you're doing. I was gonna do a similar thing because on the KINS domains, because that's what I build out my eco-village are KINS domains, we're beyond organic, and I was gonna make it, KINS domain certified, and you've taken that on because I know if I get any products from your website or from your community, it's gonna be not just organically grown, it's gonna be fair trade, it's gonna be no bad chemicals at all. I mean, it's perfect. It's the only place people should shop, or at least it's an alternative to shopping from everything from cosmetics to lotions to your nutrients. You're doing I love that. I love what you're doing because that is a really social conscious movement.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you very, very much. And we will continue to support each other always.
Thank you, Wanda. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Bruce, for sharing your inspiring journey and for all the work that you do to create a more conscious world. You've shown us how businesses can truly be a force for good. And to everyone watching, remember that every choice we make can shape the future. So let's choose wisely, live intentionally, and support those who are making a difference. So stay inspired, stay motivated, and let's keep building a brighter future together.